All right, y'all sexy motherfuckers. Frank Monday coming at you with the Lyft ticket. Lyft has reactivated my account. Super stoked on that. However, I was down for 48 hours. And so I want to give you a couple of points so that you know what to do in a situation like this. And hopefully it doesn't happen to you and you don't lose money like I did. Number one, keep your ass covered. Make sure you get a dash cam front and back so that you can record shit. Be aware that in California, you cannot legally record people's audio. So you need to make sure that the audio is turned off. And even if you leave it on, I think just if you had to go to court or something and use it in court, they would just mute out the audio. So that's fine. Number two, at the end of a ride, if you know a ride is going sour, right? If it's going south, like I knew yesterday or the day before, 3 days ago now, as soon as the motherfucker got in the car, I knew that he was a cocksucking dickhead and that he was going to give me a bad report no matter what I did. I could have bent over backwards, and I did, with etiquette and politeness and following the navigation and hitting all my P's and Q's. And I knew he was going to give me a bad rating anyway, but I didn't go in and give him a bad rating. That's something you have to do. If a ride is going south, you got to get in there immediately and rate the passenger low. 3 stars, 2 stars, or 1 star. And then in the comment section, give a detailed description of your side of the story. Because like in my situation, the guy said I smelled like alcohol. Number one, I don't drink. And number two, I would never fucking drink in the car. If I was drinking, I would never be driving for Lyft. No way. So I have this hand sanitizer, and I thought it might have been that he might have smelled that and used that as an excuse. It turns out it's ethyl alcohol, 70% as an antiseptic. And you know, I told you this in my last video that sometimes I use it, you know, to sanitize the hands up. But I don't even think that's what it was. I think he was looking to get a free ride, and some of these passengers, they know that they can game the system. They could say one of 3 things to get a driver deactivated. They could say that he drove dangerously, he or she, or smelled of alcohol, or smelled of cannabis. And any one of those things will get a driver deactivated immediately. You could have a 2-3 year driving career, 4.9 stars, and tons of good comments, and all you need is one negative comment like that, and you're out the fucking door. So for me, since I'm on the Rental Express, this vehicle cost me like $40 a day to keep. So being down for 48 hours, not only does it make it harder for me to hit my quotas and bonuses this week, I lost right out of pocket $80 for having this car just sitting here. So the way I resolved this is I sent them like 4, 5, 6 emails detailing the situation, taking pictures of my car, so on and so forth. They sent me a number. I tried to call that number about 100 times yesterday, no joke. I sat from morning till night trying to call that number and leaving occasional messages, but just calling it back, and they never answered the phone. I mean, down at the Lyft customer support team, safety and trust, they're probably inundated with calls, and just don't have the time to deal with you. So they could have a pocket full of fucks. They ain't giving a single one, not about your specific situation. So what I did was today I went ahead and I scheduled to return the rental vehicle, and I went down to the Lyft hub and talked to the guys there about it. They got into the computer, they expedited my case on the list. They got a hold of some people down there. They had them call me, and they were able to resolve it in just a couple of hours. So I highly recommend that anybody in the future, if you get into a similar situation like I did, some passengers just running his mouth trying to get a free ride, trying to game the system, and you get deactivated because of it, document your situation and go to the hub. The people at the hub can definitely help you get up and running again much quicker. If I'd have known that, that's what I would have done first thing yesterday, and I wouldn't have lost. I mean, I would have still would have lost 24 hours of drive time because I didn't know. You know, it's the learning curve. You got to learn the system. But like a friend of mine, Thomas, said in the comments on my last video, he said that it's a great way to learn the city. And so I figured out some benefits of driving for Lyft. Number one, it is a great way to learn the city. And at the same time, you get to meet some interesting people and cruise them around town and see places that you would not normally ever see. Number two, it gets you in a vehicle that's fully insured. And so you got a car that you can use in your own free time to drive around in and do the tasks you need to do and stuff. But I've done the calculations after considering rental fee for the vehicle and gas usage and the occasional hot dog at Costco. You're making about minimum wage, and you might do slightly better than minimum wage if you get decent tips and stuff. But do not try to rely on that as your main source of income. Have yourself a plan A, B, and C. Like now, I'm hooked up with the Uber. I've got the Uber registered. I'm ready to go with that. So I've got a plan B. But make sure that you have a plan C in the works too. Cover all your bases, dash cam, front and rear, all that good stuff. Y'all fucking keep it sexy out there in YouTube land. I love you guys, and I'll talk to you next time. Out.